this is your landing page. When you come to the Health Information Management Fundamentals section on your D2L platform, your eConestoga platform, you're going to see a link to the course outline, a link to the instructional plan. And this is not a direct link to the textbook, but this link is giving you information about the textbook. I can actually maybe show you what that looks like. If you click on that icon on the home page, it's literally going to bring you to the link that's going to take you to Texidium. So Texidium is actually the e-text version of this textbook. You don't pay for a textbook for this course. It's all incorporated within the tuition that you pay for this class. So if you're already set up with a Texidium account and you go ahead and click on this link, it's going to open up another tab for you in your internet browser. It's going to bring you to your book list in Texidium, and that's going to be your direct source of truth, the textbook that we use for this class. Maybe it has something to do with the snowstorm outside, but my internet seems to be lagging a little bit right now. Anyways, please let me know if you have any difficulties accessing the e-text directly through that. I wondered if that might happen. We never quite know what ends up happening with winter weather in Canada. You know, from one second to the next, we're kind of making decisions at the drop of a hat. So it's not surprising to me that the campus is closed. And I promise you, I do not plan on taking up a ton of your time this evening. This was really just more of an opportunity for us to touch base and make sure that we have a good handle on what the plan will be for the course of the semester. We'll probably be out of here by 8 o'clock. So at least now we've been able to meet each other and interact with each other through Zoom, and then we'll get back to regularly scheduled programming next week. So e-text, if you have any issues accessing the e-text through this main icon, please send me an email and let me know. I'll connect you with Kevin Brown through Library Services. He's kind of the direct eConestoga e-text representative that I work with. Now, the next thing that your course going to want to draw your attention to is the instructional plan. The instructional plan is like the Bible of the course, all right? So you can access the instructional plan through this icon here, or you can go over to the content menu. And if you click on just below course information, you'll see instructional plan. It's going to bring you to this link here. This type of instructional plan might be new to you. As I mentioned, this is a brand new course shell. And so some of the older course shells have the original HTML version. This is what we call the dynamic instructional plan. So it doesn't really mean anything to you, but on a curriculum development perspective, it basically just means that this instructional plan, everything that you'll see actually speaks directly to a content folder. So the e-text, we've already talked about that. Nothing specific from a program notes or course specific notes perspective, but the evaluation summary is always the thing that students are most, fixated on. How am I going to be graded in this class? What do I need to be worried about from an evaluation perspective? So right off the top, you'll see here, we've got a discussion post. We're not even going to be thinking about that discussion post until 2 weeks from now. So we'll put that on, we'll put a pin in that. We'll talk about that next week. There's a very, very short quiz, a 30-minute quiz that we're going to have at the beginning of class in week 4. It's just going to be testing your knowledge on the theory that we'll be covering between weeks 2 and 3, a little bit about what we talk about this week, but more so the content that we cover between weeks 2, 3, and 4. And then, of course, the midterm exam, which will be taking place in week 7, which is the week before we head off into Student Success Week or Reading Week. And then when we come back from Reading Week, we kind of shift gears a little bit. Oh no, is my computer going to restart? No, we don't want that to happen. We don't want my computer to restart. I just got a notification pop up in the corner of my screen that says restart computer in 57 seconds. No, please don't do that. what was I saying? So when we come back from Student Success Week, that's when we kind of shift gears a little bit and we transition into what I was referring to before with that project management work. So quality improvement in healthcare is something that we talk about all the time. Quality improvement initiatives, we want to have strategic goals and initiatives. And so the first chunk of the semester is really going to be talking about all of the really important theoretical concepts and the theoretical knowledge that you need to be gaining over the course of the first 7 weeks of the semester as it relates to health information management. And then the second half of the semester is applying that theory to practice and applying the theory to an identified problem, barrier, challenge within our healthcare system, and how we can apply quality improvement frameworks to the challenge that you've identified. There's another discussion post, and then the final exam is actually a essay response to a case study and a very, very short 10, 15, maybe 15 question multiple choice true and false quiz. So that's the evaluation summary. Now with this dynamic instructional plan, once we get into like week 12 and week 13 of the semester, if you don't want to have to scroll through everything, you don't have to scroll through everything. You can literally just go to the top of the IP, move past the evaluation section in the IP, and then if you want to go directly to week 13, it'll bring you directly to week 13. And if then you want to go directly to the week 13 content folder, you can actually click directly into the week 13 content folder. I haven't released that to the course shell yet, so it doesn't have the direct link there yet. But as the content folders get released to you, it makes things a lot more efficient and a lot more easy than having to like scroll through things when you enter into the IP. Now we are just in week 1, folks. Like, let's not wish our lives away. We are just in week 1, and the description for what we're covering in week 1 is outlined here in the IP. But if you were to go to the week 1 content folder, which as you can see here, because this has been released to the class, you can click on this link directly. And it's going to bring you directly to the week 1 content folder. And it's also going to show you a short description of what to expect for the week, any required preparation or content that you should be reviewing as part of your learning for week 1. And if there are any evaluations for the class for this week, which no evaluations that are directly tied to your grade book. However, we do have the Academic Integrity Compliance Acknowledgement Agreement, which is located under quizzes. In order to unlock the content folders beyond week 2, there's what I don't know what we call this. It's like can't remember what it's called, but basically you have to complete the Academic Integrity Compliance Acknowledgement Agreement. Say that 10 times fast. I dare you. It's very hard. You have to complete this quiz before it will unlock the rest of the other folders for you. So where do you find that quiz? If you go under course tools and you go under quizzes, it's already released for you. You can just go ahead and click on that academic link there. You'll see a blue square in the bottom left-hand corner that says start quiz. It'll take you less than a minute. You literally just have to read the blurb about academic integrity, agree to it, sign off on it, and then we've got our documentation to show that you as a student here in your second semester at Conestoga, you understand and agree to engage in academic integrity over the course of this semester. So that's a little bit of, I guess, some housekeeping business that we have to get through together. If we head on back to the instructional plan, again, you will see that whenever there is an evaluation due to an evaluation week. So week 3, you'll see here evaluations, end of class, review. So we're going to review for the quiz that's going to take place in week 4. So if you were ever questioning, an especially important week to attend and you're thinking, oh man, I could pick up this shift at work. Is it really important that I be in person for this class? Well, you can go to the instructional plan and say, ooh, week 3, there's a quiz review. I should probably attend that because I want to make sure that I know what's going to be on the quiz. But if there's nothing in an evaluation week, I'm not encouraging you to miss class on weeks when there isn't an evaluation, because obviously every week is going to be valuable. But I also appreciate that many of you have competing demands, competing priorities, obligations that you need to attend to. The only thing that I do ask is if you are going to miss class, please send me an email and let me know if you're going to miss it, because attendance is and will be taken every week. I'll be taking a screenshot here in a second just to get an idea of who's in attendance this week. I've got my own little spreadsheet. I keep documentation about students that are actively engaged in conversation and discussion every week. And so my own sort of due diligence, I try to make sure that I keep regular documentation, just so that I can make sure that I give credit where credit is due, for those folks who participate readily and students who show up every week and students who are really committed to their learning. I think that's important as you move through the higher levels within this program. Now, you're in level 2. That's fantastic. Things begin to sort of change as you move through the higher levels within the program. Obviously, in first semester, we're doing a lot of, hand holding and making sure that everybody feels comfortable and that you know how to navigate all of the course information and the content that you need to navigate. But by the time you reach semester 4, we're going to say, all right, you should know this by now. And there's a lot of accountability that you start to gain as you move through the different levels within the program. So I think, given that you are now familiar with where to find all the details of the instructional plan, you've got an understanding of what to expect for the evaluations within this course. You're probably sitting here wondering, okay, where are we going to go from here? I've got a little Kahoot exercise. I'm not sure if you've ever done Kahoot in any of your previous classes before, but I'm mindful of the time. I'm mindful of the fact that we're in the middle of a snowstorm. I don't know if you are on campus or if you are at home right now, but I think just for the purpose of this week, we'll try to make things as efficient as possible. So I think we will transition over to the Kahoot exercise, which is my version of an icebreaker activity. If we were in person, I'm really not the kind of person that loves those like cheesy, very traditional icebreaker activities. I remember what it was like to be a student, and there's nothing worse than getting put on the spot. Who are you? And what's your background? And what's one interesting fact about yourself? Like, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. I'm not going to put you on the spot, but what we are going to do is a little interactive activity on Kahoot. So I'm going to go ahead and fire this up. If you could go to www, I'll put this in the chat box, www.kahoot.it. Oops, I spelled it wrong. www.kahoot.it. There it is. I'll press start here. It's going to produce a game pin. This is just an opportunity for me to get to know a little bit about you, and I will kind of sprinkle in a few little facts about myself along the way. But if you go to kahoot.it and you enter in the game pin 963552, then Sahima is quick to the draw here. First one to join. And we will, I think, I don't even remember. I think there's about 8 or 9 questions that we'll just work through. It'll be a natural sort of progression of discussion about the class. And then before you know it, I'll be sending you on your way, and you'll be off onto your weekend, and you'll have your first week of classes for your winter 2024 semester under your belt. Drew, Christiana, Deep, Stisha. I love seeing what people choose as their emoticon, like that little emoji thing. I think it's pretty funny. Is it indicative of your personality? Are you changing the glasses or the hat that you're wearing. All right, I'll wait maybe 30 more seconds. We've got 14 people. It's not too bad. Shabina, you're saying you can't join the Kahoot? You can join from your cell phone if you've got a smartphone, or you can also join directly from a laptop. I'm not sure what type of technology you're using to join.
Ma'am, it's asking the pin.
The pin is right here,
Yeah.
my friend. It's 963552. This big bold number here at the top of the screen, that's your pin.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Then I'll
No
join.
problem. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, welcome. Join whenever you are able to. We've got 17 people. I'll just wait 30 more seconds. You can join whenever. So even if I get started, you can join at any time over the course of the game. So Shibana, there you are. All right, I think we'll get started. We're just shy of 20 participants. So here we go. This is Health Information Icebreaker Winter Semester 24. The first question is an open-ended question. So in your own words, what does health information management mean to you? Why are you here? Why are you taking this class? Why is health information important? What is this class going to be all about for the next 14 weeks? What do you think? You've got 250 characters and about 65 seconds. Health information management. You can get down with these funky, funky tunes while you answer. You got about 30 seconds. What does health information management mean to you? Got 3 answers and about 10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year. All right, let me see. What have you got for answers for me? Let's show those answers. Health information management. HIM helps us to keep track of data being generated from healthcare services. Absolutely. Excellent. HIM is learning about the management of health info. Simply. All right. That's very to the point. I appreciate where you're going from, where you're coming from with that. In this huge shortage of healthcare in Canada, it's very important to stand up for the frontline workers. So it's you got cut off there. You were really passionate about what you were saying. I'm sure it will come forward over the course of the semester, but you're absolutely right. We definitely do have a shortage of healthcare services within our system, and the management of health information is a really good way for us to get a better understanding of how we are using our resources, if we're doing things efficiently or not. Somebody say right off the bat that they have an interest in this subject. So that's exciting. I'm glad to hear that because I can't wait to teach you all about it. Analyzing and protecting, good word, protecting healthcare data to improve patient care. Wow, excellent. I love that response. Couldn't have said it better myself. This one looks good. Means technology, policies, and processes to handle health data, including patient records, administrative documents, and other healthcare related information. I don't know who wrote this, but I think you should be teaching this class because that's a pretty good answer. I honestly could not have written a response better myself. Excellent job. Very good insight. To give quality and equity care for patients, we should know all about healthcare. So we should be collecting information. We are collecting health information, and health information can be a lot of different things. And that's part of the thing that you're going to be learning about over the course of the semester is all the unique nuances that we have within our healthcare system as it relates to the collection, collation, dissemination, and ultimately the destruction of health records. So I think you're all kind of on the right track here to get to know about how an organization works. Yeah, you're going to get a pretty good understanding about how the unique, intricate sort of ways in which the healthcare system operates. Because at the end of the day, you know, we're collecting health information in virtually every area of the continuum of care. So that's some good insight as well. Health information is important for us to understand how the system works so that we can provide better care to patients. Yeah. So the higher the quality of information that we gather means that the higher quality decisions we are able to make, right? Because we're not just going to be making decisions with multi-million-dollar budgets based off of our intuition or how we're feeling about something, right? We want to have quantifiable, measurable data and evidence to guide the decisions that we're making. And that the way in which we collect that information is really going to steer the ship around whether or not we're collecting high quality data or whether the data we're collecting is not high quality. And at the end of the day, if you're not collecting high quality data, then there's no point in using that information for decision purposes because it would be a waste of money in the end, right? We already know that we have very limited resources at our fingertips. So we want to make sure that the decisions we're making are supported by evidence and data to reflect why we are making the decisions that we are making. This one looks good. Public health data. Population level health information used for public health research and policy making. This might include data on disease prevalence, vaccination rates, and health trends within communities. Wow, very good insight there. And I mean, you could take it even a step further, and maybe we will next week, but you can take it a step further and think, if you are just one patient and you have a 15-minute doctor's appointment with your family doctor, think about every single step that a patient would need to take in order to even secure an appointment with their family doctor. What happens when they arrive at their family doctor's appointment? What happens during the family doctor's appointment? And what happens after the appointment? And is there any follow-up that corresponds with that appointment? And if you think on any given day, there are millions of patients having doctor's appointments with their family physician, the amount of health information that we are collecting just from primary care, family doctor appointments, is infinite. And then you add on surgical programs, you add on acute care emergency department programming, you add on transplant programs, palliative care programs, pediatric programs, mental health programs. There's just an infinite amount of health information that we are collecting on a minute by minute, maybe even second by second basis. That's all reported up through the Ministry of Health. And this is the information that we are using, not only we as leaders more so in the frontline level of things, but if you see yourself maybe moving into politics someday, the politicians and the health leaders of our province and of our country are using the health information that we're producing in order to make decisions with how we are allocating resources and how funding models are being established. So at the end of the day, health information management is a really complex, really dynamic topic. And we're going to be talking about everything to do with health information over the course of the semester. But at the end of the day, we may only be touching a tip of the iceberg as it relates to health information management in this course. Let's go on to the next question, shall we? This one is a poll. I'm curious to know a little bit about you. The question is, I am currently working a part-time or full-time job in a healthcare setting. Red is yes, and it's going great. Blue is no, I've been trying, but no luck. Yellow is yes, and it's extremely stressful. I'm looking elsewhere. And green is I'm waiting until I'm done school to start applying for jobs. Let's see. Oh, wow. This is a pretty good result. I haven't seen this many yes, and it's going great. Usually there's nobody or just one person. If you are brave enough to type in the chat box, where are you working? I'm curious to know what setting you're working in that it's going so great. And I would love to have some insight into that. Are you in a hospital? Are you in a long-term care home? Are you in the community? Where are you working where it's going so great? Working with Spectrum Healthcare as a client care coordinator. Good for you, Kritika. That's incredible. That's really great to hear. That's a really great stepping stone for you, for sure. Anybody else comfortable to share? If not, that's okay. No pressure. I take the pressure off by creating a little bit of anonymity in these virtual exercises. Jiki is working as a pharmacy assistant at Rexall. Well
Hi,
done.
ma'am.
Good for you, Jiki. That's fantastic. Was there somebody else that wanted to chime in?
Hi, ma'am. I'm working in a retirement home.
Good for you,
Yeah,
Shabina. What's your role in
yeah,
the
as a PSW.
PSW? Good for you. That's fantastic. Excellent. I'm so happy to hear that. Disha Ben says, and also please provide reference to us. Listen, are you kidding? Absolutely. At the end of the semester, when I have students that come to me looking for reference, either an academic reference for a scholarship application or a professional reference for a job that you were applying to, that's all part of the package. As instructors, we are sort of informal mentors to you, and I wouldn't be doing my job if I wasn't agreeable to be a reference. Now, you have to pull your weight too. This isn't just me handing out references to everybody and anybody. I only agree to be references for people that I feel very confident in speaking to your skill and ability and your professionalism and your reliability and how consistent you are with all of those things over the course of the semester. So listen, you participate, you engage, you show up every week. I am more than happy to be a reference for you in whatever way you need, whether it be academic, a job application. I'm happy to support you in that. Let's move on, shall we? Next question. I have an interest in working in the health information management field. Red is yes, tell me everything you know. Blue is no way, data analytics is not for me. Yellow is not sure, I'm exploring all my options. And green is I'm looking for more of a frontline leadership position versus behind the scenes work. Oh my goodness. So there was nobody that said, no way, data analytics is not for me. So that's good for me to hear. Yes, tell me everything you know. That's exciting for me, actually. I'm really happy to see that. And the not sure, I'm exploring all options. That's very methodical of you. I appreciate where you're coming from. For the three people who said looking for more of a frontline clinical leadership role, what kind of clinical leadership role is it exactly that you're looking for? If you're comfortable to share in the chat box, please let me know, because I've actually been working in healthcare for a very long time. And up until August of 2023, I was working as a clinical director. I've done clinical leadership, clinical management. I still have my foot in the door at a hospital. I don't think I will ever stop working at a hospital in some capacity. Oh, okay. Project management leadership role. Well, maybe we need to have a conversation, because I'm pretty passionate about that myself. What I'm currently doing as a part-time leader in healthcare is actually clinical operations management. So my job in a hospital in Toronto, Unity Health, St. Joe's Health Center, it's a hospital on the Queensway in Toronto. My job as a clinical operations manager is after hours, when all of the other leaders and executives leave the hospital, the clinical operations manager is the only person, to run all of the things that are happening across the hospital. So I manage the emergency department, the surgical department, the critical care unit, the pediatric department, labor and delivery. I am the only person after hours who takes charge and who makes sure that things keep moving and the wheels keep turning on the very complex dynamics that occur within a hospital system. Prior to me stepping away from my frontline leadership work, clinical director work, I was very, very, very heavily involved in project management, very passionate about that kind of thing. So I did also mention, of course, my years of experience in long-term care before stepping into acute care work. So if you are somebody that's interested in long-term care or retirement home as a long-term professional development career goal, I'm your girl. Or if you're interested in leadership in a hospital, I can give you all kinds of tips and tricks and wisdom when it comes to navigating your career in the hospital sector as well. Himanshu says, my ultimate goal is to clear the licensing exam for the MCCQE and will pursue my career as a doctor. Chef's kiss. Hats off to you, my friend. That's fantastic. As you were a doctor in India with 6 years of clinical experience. Wow. Very impressive. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, let me just plant a seed in your mind. Take this information for what you will. Over the course of the semester, I'm going to sprinkle all of these little tips and tricks and weird and wonderful and wacky things that I come up with. Health information management is actually a certifiable position within our healthcare continuum. Now, you mentioned pursuing your licensing exam for the MCCQE. I imagine that that process is probably very involved. I imagine there's probably a lot of money associated with that. I imagine there's a number of exams that you need to prepare for. It's probably not something that takes a couple of months to achieve. And this is just me assuming. I'm not a doctor. Will it be okay to know your background and how to navigate your way to my current position? I'm going to get there. Don't you worry. I will share sort of my journey and how I kind of got to where I am. But what I would really like you to be thinking about right now is what you could do in the meantime, because the investment and the time and the resources that are required to invest in your licensing process, that like whatever it is that you have to go through to get to the end goal, it takes time, right? Probably years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years to get to that goal of being a doctor within the system. Health information management is something that you could pursue at a certifiable level. There's also a diploma stream that you can take, and we actually do a deeper dive on this next week. But from a surface level perspective, as sort of the introduction to this conversation, health information management is a very vastly growing field. In the United States, health information management professional, HIMP, is a designation. And in the United States, they're just our neighbors to the south. There's about 70,000 HIMPs, 70,000, okay? In Canada, we've got a pretty big land mass here. We've got hundreds of hospitals across our great land. There's only 5,000, okay? United States, 70,000 health information management licensed professionals. In Canada, 5,000 licensed health information management professionals. This is a booming field. This is a huge, fast, very quickly growing field, especially in provinces like Ontario, where we've just been given approval for a number of hospitals to, oh, I'm just gonna make sure that you're muted there, Vishal. A number of hospitals have just been given approval and funding to build new campuses, new hospitals. So what comes along with building a brand new hospital? We have to build new systems. And what are we doing in our healthcare system right now? We're transitioning from a paper-based system to an electronic-based system. And who is the expert in order to guide and lead and drive these initiatives? None other than health information management professionals. The electronic medical record system is something that every hospital is striving and moving towards achieving. Will we ever be entirely electronic? Probably not. We'll always probably need some paper version of what it is that we do, but EMRs and EHRs is the way of the future, and hospitals are being tasked with the project management work that's associated with implementing these huge changes that come along with major investment, both financially and human resources, from a human resources perspective as well. So if health information management is something that you are interested in, please engage with me over the course of the semester. I'm gonna, of course, like I say, be giving you all the tips and tricks and knowledge that I can possibly share with you. But this would possibly be something that you could consider pursuing. You could get your HIM certification under your belt within less than a year. You could get your foot in the door in a hospital, obtain a full-time salary, get some healthcare benefits, get some vacation time, and then be working on your licensing for becoming a pharmacist, becoming a doctor, becoming a dentist, becoming a physio, while you are already working in the field and continuing to gain experience. This is a much faster way. There are fewer flaming hoops of fire that you have to jump through in order to be certified as an HIMP. That's not to say that you should put your dreams of becoming a doctor or a pharmacist or a dentist or a physio or whatever it is you are hoping to achieve. Not saying that you should forget about that, but I'm just saying if you're looking for a very quick way to get into the system and be able to make a significant impact very quickly, HIMP, health information management professional work, would be a very, very quick way to make that happen for you. Right? I'm teaching you something already. Week 1, right? We've only known each other for an hour and I'm already planting the seeds, sprinkling the knowledge. And we've only just started. All right, let's see. Let's go on to the next question. My favorite way to be evaluated is multiple choice true and false exams, group work, presentations, essays, and academic writing. Multiple choice true and false exams, a little bit of group work. Some people like presentations and some people like one person likes essays and academic writing. Well, folks, good news. We get a little bit of all of these things in this class. The so we have a quiz in week 4 and a midterm exam in week 7. They are exclusively multiple choice, true and false, multi-select, matching. When we come back from Student Success Week, you do a little bit of group work that corresponds with a presentation at the end. And our final evaluation, our final exam is a very, very, very short 15-question quiz and an essay response to a case study. So guess what? In this class, you get it all. We make it a good thing for everyone. We get a little taste of all of the ways of being evaluated. But the bulk of it does actually correspond with multiple choice, true and false, multi-select evaluations. So for the 8 of you that responded to that, you'll be happy. Next question. What healthcare setting do you hope to get a job in someday? You want to be in a hospital? You want to be in a family medicine clinic? maybe a specialist office, maybe you want to be a medical transcriptionist, data entry, or maybe something else, maybe something completely different. Hospital for the win. My goodness. Okay. A couple of people interested in medical transcriptionist work, data entry, decision support. That's that HIMP work. Data entry, decision support, project management. That's that whole realm of things. Hospitals. Okay. The 15 of you who responded hospitals, listen, I'm guilty. I'm in the same boat as you. I am a hospital junkie. I love hospitals, everything about it. I know what it is about a hospital that makes me tick. What is it about a hospital that is so appealing to you? What do you love about the idea of working in a hospital? Lay it on me. What do you think? What is it about a hospital that is so appealing? Is it that it's familiar to you? Do you like the fast-paced environment? Do you like how things are constantly changing? What is it about a hospital that does it for you? In the chat box or in audio, if you're brave enough to chime in. The environment, Drew, is it the fast-paced environment? Is it the interdisciplinary team environment? What is it about the environment specifically? What a great answer. Thank you for sharing that. You know what? You've just restored my faith in humanity with that response. I think because I've worked in a hospital system for so long, I tend to kind of approach it in more of a jaded perspective. But if I was really thinking about why I do the work that I do and why it's so important to me, I think that's actually the correct answer, is that we're able to exercise our empathy and we're able to produce positive results for people, not all the time, but when we are able to produce positive results for people, that reminds us why it is we do what we do. So thank you for sharing that. That's really great. Patient safety and quality of services. Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. To get the opportunity to work with different groups of people. Okay, you guys are all being very, what's the word I'm looking for? Politically correct. You're being very thoughtful and empathetic, but nobody is talking about this. Ah, there it is. There's the money. Somebody did talk about the money. Listen, I would be lying if I stood here in front of you and I said, you make no money in the hospital. If you work anywhere, you don't want to work in the hospital. That's a lie. If you and hold on, let me rewind again for a second. None of us are going into healthcare to be millionaires, okay? We're not going to be millionaires working in healthcare. But the area within our continuum of care that pays the most just happens to be the hospital sector. Okay, I said it. I said it. I put it out there. That's the truth. I'm not gonna, try to pull the wool over your eyes. It is what it is. You make the most money in hospital. The next area within the continuum of care that comes with the most benefits and the most money would be working for the government or on the Ontario health teams. So government and hospital, they are right up there with each other. Depending on, again, what level of leadership you end up in. And we'll talk a little bit more about that next week, what you're kind of looking at from a salary perspective. But I appreciate that money was mentioned, because that is, sometimes we just got to say it like it is, right? Like, we know what we're in for. Let's just say hospital is where you make the most money. Himanshu says, love the environment. It's like a second home to me. Love the interaction with the patients, resolving their health issues. I agree. That whole second home to me thing. For the longest time, it was long-term care that was a second home to me. But now, I've spent more time in a hospital than I have in long-term care. With 12 years of experience in a hospital, it's so funny to me when I interact with people who don't work in healthcare, because healthcare is just like a second language to me. And if I'm working, like, having a conversation, or you're out for dinner with friends or whatever, and it's somebody that doesn't work in healthcare and you're explaining, the weird and wacky and wonderful things that we experience in healthcare, people just don't understand necessarily the bond that you create with other people that understand kind of where you're coming from a healthcare perspective. So I appreciate that, Himanshu. Thank you for sharing. Nicola is saying, I had 4 years of hospital experience in India, so need to explore the Canadian system too. Probably going to be a little bit different, Nicola, but I'm sure that you will see some similarities, and maybe the differences will be positive. Maybe positive, maybe negative. I don't know. I would be interested to hear maybe someday when you land a job in a hospital, what your perspective is on how things differ from a Canadian hospital system to a system that you've experienced already in India. Very good. Thank you for participating in the chat. I really appreciate your engagement. It's wonderful. Next question. My role as a learner in the classroom is to what? As a learner, as a student, what is your responsibility in the classroom? We're virtual this week, but when we get back into the regular scheduled programming next week in the classroom, what are you responsible for as a learner? Got about 30 seconds. Ten seconds. All right, let's see what you got here. This looks great. Active participation, be honest. Okay, I think you're maybe alluding to academic integrity there, which I think is very impressive. Thank you for doing that. To put your knowledge into practice. I think that's where you're going with that. To participate. Listen, you get out of this experience what you put into it. The last thing that I want is to spend the next 14 weeks just wah, 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 wah. That's not fun for you. It's not fun for me either. The more that we are able to engage and discuss and chat through things and, really just develop rapport with one another, it's going to make this experience so much more valuable for you. And it's not lost on me that you are paying thousands and thousands of dollars to be taking this program. So let's make this experience as dynamic as it can possibly be. So the more that you engage with me, the better this experience is going to ultimately be for everyone. To gain knowledge, to be attentive, to ask questions. Yes, thank you. Please ask questions. I can guarantee you, if there's a class where maybe we breeze through something too quickly, or sometimes I talk very fast, especially if I'm really passionate about what I'm talking about, I will talk very quickly. And so if I do that and you're thinking, what did she just say? Please don't hesitate to say, could you just repeat what you said? Because I guarantee if you have a doubt or you have a question, there's probably at least 2 or 3 other people who are feeling and thinking the exact same thing that you are. So please don't ever feel ashamed or afraid to bring forward the questions that you have for class. I would not be doing my job if I didn't make sure that you were leaving each lecture feeling confident and feeling like you've walked out of that lecture having learned something meaningful and something that's going to really contribute to your overall professional development. Learn and participate, engage and participate, and achieve the best version. I think you're going with achieve the best version of yourself or achieve the best version of your grades, which absolutely, this is excellent. I think you've really done a good job of highlighting what your role is as a learner. A couple of things I will add: punctuality. Okay, punctuality with attending class, but also punctuality with making sure that your assignments are submitted on time. If your assignments are not going to be submitted on time, my general rule and my practice, not only when I was a clinical leader, but also as an instructor for the last 6.5 years, if you communicate proactively with me, meaning you know a day in advance that you're not going to get your discussion post number 2 submitted on time. You just know. You got called in for an additional shift, you had to work overtime, your computer broke, you got family drama happening, you're just not going to get this discussion post submitted on time. But you reach out to me 2 days in advance and say, look, my week has gone, haywire, and I'm just not going to be able to get the discussion post submitted on time. If you communicate proactively with me, I will always be willing to work with you and make exceptions and bend the rules and do whatever it is that you need in order to make sure that you feel supported. It's if you are someone who waits until the last second to communicate, you're emailing me 1 minute before class, you're emailing me the day after something is due, and you say, oh, Shannon, I forgot to submit, da, 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 da. Reactive communication is not going to get you very far with me. We're going to have to go through all of the formal college process. We're going to have to pull out the handbook. You're going to have to get medical documentation for me, all of those things, okay? But if you proactively communicate with me and we establish a plan and you work with me and you communicate with me, not only are we then able to establish a good rapport with one another, but I know that you are reliable and that you are planning ahead and that you are thinking about how you missing out on this evaluation is ultimately going to impact your experience with your experience within this course. So proactive communication always versus reactive communication. Proactively communicate with me. We will be on great terms and there will be no issues whatsoever for the course of this semester. Capiche? Capiche. All right, let's go on to the next. This is another open-ended one and kind of selfish for me because I need to know what it is that you need from an instructor in order to feel supported. Okay? The best type of instructor is one who does the following. What is it that you need from an instructor? How do you feel you learn the best? What is it that inspires you? What is it that motivates you? The best type of instructor is one who does the following. Got about 40 seconds. Think back to last semester or maybe in your previous education experience. What was it about that one instructor that just inspired you, motivated you? You learned the best from that person. What did they do? What was it about them? About 10 seconds. All right, let's see what you got for me here. To guide and inspire the student, for sure, absolutely. Very dynamic, open-ended, giving career advice and guidance. guess what? That's one of my favorite things to do. I think we'll be good friends. Equal opportunity to all. All right. I think there's also a part here I would just like, listen, I'm playing devil's advocate. You get out of this experience what you put into it. So if you give me 100%, then I give you 100%. And that's where that equal opportunity comes in. Who gives away a lot of marks? Well, listen, I do my very best to give you every possible ounce of support and assistance that I can possibly give for you to be successful. So as long as you pay attention and as long as you show up every week, you'll get all the marks that you deserve for sure. To make class interactive, I agree. There's nothing worse than an instructor that stands at the front of the class and just reads from the lecture slides and monotone voice, nothing exciting. Yeah, that's awful. We're not going to have that in this class, I promise you. Somebody that's easy to approach. Listen, it takes time to develop your level of comfort with your instructors. So I hope that over the course of the semester, we'll develop that level of first name basis. You can approach me. This is a safe space. There's no bad questions. I really hope that you will come to find that I am someone that you can come to and talk to about anything. To be on the student side and help them to get out of trouble. If you are in trouble, please send me an email because I might not know the answer and I might not be able to solve all of your problems, but I might be able to connect you with the right area or the right information that would help you if you were in any issue. Everyone has their own teaching style and everyone is good in one another way. We learn from other stuff from every instructor. You know what? That's true. I hear where you're coming from with that. Every instructor has their own unique style, and every instructor is going to be able to spread their wisdom and knowledge in a different way. And that's fantastic. I think that's what makes the learning experience so dynamic. Keeping class entertaining gives listening ears when a student needs one. I hear that for sure. Fun with studying, using games like this, interactive, motivation, and friendly. All right, I hear you. I see you. I hope that I'm on the right track. We'll just have to see if over the course of the semester there's ever the time or ever a time rather where you feel like you need just a little bit more of something from me. I take your constructive feedback very personally. Teaching is something that I'm very passionate about. So anytime you have feedback, whether it be constructive or positive, please do not hesitate to share that with me. It's my job to make sure that you're getting the best out of this experience. Next question, second to last one. And this is just to get a feel for how you like to see things be interesting in class. So do you like having interactive activities like this one? Do you like watching videos? Do you like little test your knowledge practice quizzes over the course of the lecture? Or is it that you like the instructor sharing stories and applying theory to practice? Wow, my goodness. Okay. Interactive activities and instructor telling a lot of stories. You are in luck, my friends. I am a talker. If that was not obvious already, just from our hour of knowing each other, one of the things that I really enjoy and having so many years of experience within the field, I think there's no better way than to help you learn something by sharing a real life, real world example of how this situation applies or how the theory applies to what you would experience in the real world example of types of things that you're going to come in contact with in the healthcare continuum. So leave it to me. I will definitely be sharing lots of stories for you. And I also agree that the more interactive the class can be, the more interesting it will be. So I hope, I hope that we are on the right track together. And again, just as the same as the last question, if there's anything, ever something that you feel you need a little bit more of, do not hesitate to approach me in class, send me an email, message me on LinkedIn, whatever method you prefer. But I am an open book and I am always open to your ideas and suggestions because you know best. You know the best way that you want to learn. So please share with me. Last but certainly not least, anything else you want the instructor to know or be aware of? I should also say if you have any other questions before we finish off for today, because once we are done this final question, we are going to close out for this week. My LinkedIn is, that's where you can find me on LinkedIn. If you have nothing, if you're feeling good, if you're like, let's just get out of here, just say nothing. I'm good. All good. See you later. Got about 50 seconds. No questions. No doubts, no uncertainties. Himanshu's feeling good. All of us feeling good. Ah, that's great. Thank you so much, Christiana. Priyanka, wonderful. Let me just go ahead and skip then. I don't know if there's anybody else that's typing, but you can continue to add if you need to. 9 answers submitted. Anything that I might be missing so far today? Show answers. No questions. All good. All good. All good. Feeling good. Seems like we're going to have a good time. I think so. Listen, we kind of got a crappy time of the week. Like there's nothing worse than a Friday evening class. But if I can make this Friday evening experience enjoyable for you in any way, listen, I want it to be enjoyable just as much as you want it to be enjoyable. So let's make sure that we spend our Fridays together for the next 15 weeks in a way that we can all benefit from. Awesome class. Excited to study next week. I'm excited too. All right. So nothing due for evaluations next week. The only thing that you need to follow up with is the Academic Integrity Compliance Acknowledgement Agreement. Remember, academic integrity is at the forefront of your thinking. So sign off on that agreement just so that we've got some documentation to confirm that you all agree to be honest and ethical and moral and that we're all going to have a great semester together. I look forward to meeting you all in the flesh next Friday. I'll see you there. And listen, stay safe, stay cozy this weekend. We're getting a huge snowstorm. I don't know. Is it still snowing out there? I don't know. But either way, stay safe, stay warm. And oh, Jessica just sent me a direct message. I haven't unlocked the folders beyond week 3. So right now you're only going to see week 2, but as the folders beyond week 3, week 4, week 5, it's all going to unlock for you. So you can't see anything other than week 1 and week 2 right now, but as soon as the other folders get unlocked, you will see them. Awesome. Thanks, Jessica. Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate you taking the time to join me virtually this week, but I cannot wait to see you next week in the classroom. It's going to be a great semester together. I really look forward to it. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.